Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of the 21 Day Purpose Challenge. So, I want to honor all of you for having the courage to dive into your life yesterday and to look at every core area to see how aligned it was with your life's purpose. I'm sure it brought up a lot of fear and probably some shame, maybe. I'm sure your critic was in the room. Oh, I should be better. Your image consultant maybe was there, like, oh, I'm 40. I should be further. I should look better. I should have my stuff figured out by now. So I just want to send my love to you and say thank you so much for doing that hard work because I know it was hard. And it's going to get harder. And that's my job as coach and guide to hold it. And because transformation happens when we're uncomfortable. Like if we're comfortable, we're not transforming. So in order for you to get what you came here to get, we need to keep you uncomfortable, unfortunately. But that's just the nature of things. So today, I'd like to share with you just a short story about how I got kind of up close and personal with my level of discomfort with my life. So I was 25, living down in Los Angeles, and was this kind of big fun party boy. Like, drinking, drugs, girls, getting arrested all the time, and for the most part, I was happy and somewhat proud of my exploits. But I remember distinctly, I think it was I had a buddy in town. We were sitting at a bar, and I just got really sad. Like, oh, like I'm a clown. Like my friends hang out with me because I entertain them, or I'm always expected to do something outrageous, like get naked in the bar or something like that. And it was like the words from Smokey Robinson's "Tears of a Clown" kind of hit me like, oh wow, I am just this sad, sad clown. Like everyone thinks I'm happy and gregarious and the life of the party, but I'm sad. Like I feel like I have an expectation to perform. It was the first time I really got clear that I was unhappy, that I was actually a fraud, that I wasn't this person, this larger than life kind of party persona. Um, and that was deeply troubling to me. Like I started to see that like my whole life was empty and that I was craving something more. And there was actually a point where I put feelers out for heroin. Like coke and ecstasy weren't enough for me. I wanted something else. And it's like, holy cow, how did this kid from the suburbs who grew up playing golf, start to seek out heroin? And it was like a wake up call. I mean, one would have liked to have thought that I would have had the wake up call after the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth arrest, but that didn't happen. It was actually when I um, put the feelers out for heroin. I was like, ooh, something's got to shift here. So I began to ask questions and look at my life differently, and created this little private ritual for myself. So Sunday morning, I would go down to the coffee shop, grab a cup of coffee, a pack of smokes, and a New York Times, and kind of read the paper with curiosity. Like, what else is there in this world for me other than this kind of life I've created as this party boy, this guy who just kind of, you know, pedal to the metal, damn the torpedoes, the hell with everybody, and, the mess I create. So I just started to dream, like actively daydream, sit there with my coffee and my cigarette, and like, what kind of impact do I want to have on this world? Um, it was kind of like what you just did with your ideal day. Like it was that like, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be with? But the thing is, like, that was like 2 hours on a Sunday. The rest of the time, I was the same jerk. Still like eating, drinking, being a jerk. But I would start to kind of see how this pattern was going to play itself out. Like by my 30s, I would probably have cirrhosis of the liver. By my 40s, I would probably either have a DUI or a colostomy bag or something like, you know, and in this life that I was creating, like probably wasn't going to work out for me anymore. I don't think girls would go home with a guy with a colostomy bag. Um, so, it was like, I got really crisp, like, this is not me. This is not my life. So that's kind of what we're creating today is we're gonna start to project how things that are going in your life are gonna go. So we'll dive into that in the next video. But I'd like to share with you a quote that I think kind of that lands this point, and it's from the Bhagavad Gita. So in this story, there's a prince, Krishna or Arjuna, who has to enter into a battle against his family. Some uncles on this side, some uncles on his side, and he had to go into this battle. And his charioteer for the battle is none other than Krishna. So it's an incarnation of the supreme deity, Krishna. And so Krishna essentially counsels him as he's in this kind of indecision around whether or not he should fight and kill his family. So Krishna says to him, he goes, "It is better to strive in one's own dharma than to succeed in the dharma of another." And so the idea here is that dharma, as I'm interpreting it, is actually kind of your path, your purpose, the thing that it is that you're put here to do. And so Arjuna doubts his dharma. Like, his dharma is as a warrior. He's part of the warrior class or caste. So his job, his purpose, as socially defined as it is to fight. And he's questioning, like, should he live his purpose? Should he choose something else and withdraw from the fight? And so I think this is kind of illustrative because it actually involves his family. So part of his family is, pushing him forth as leader of this army to go fight the other part of his family. So he's got this social pressure, and he's got to actually, if he's going to live his dharma and live to see the day, he's got to kill part of his family, or at least, terribly injure them. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, like, trying to live your purpose with some people supporting you and then some people not. Some people being really attached to who you are and wanting you to be another purpose. So I'm going to invite you to think about that as you do today's exercise. Whose purpose are you living in each key life area? And as you start to flush it out, do you want to keep driving that train? Seeing your life 5, 10, 15, 20, 35 years on the same train of living somebody else's purpose. It's a sober reality, and again, probably not that much fun, but I just want to honor you for doing this sacred work. It is absolutely necessary, because without it, you're not going to be able to reach escape velocity to kind of get out of the default, get out of the matrix. You have to be really present to what's so and where your life is going without purpose. Again, thank you. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow.